Hello, everyone, and welcome to Leadership and Neurodiversity. As you know, we no longer do this by date. We just do it as video. And we have a lot going on since the last video, which a couple of weeks ago. I apologize. We're going to start a three times a week video starting this week. So hopefully the session will be Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. There may be some variations. There may be some weeks I only do two or one, but ideally I'm going to have, in most weeks, it'll be three. But a lot has been going on with the Leadership and Neurodiversity projects. First item is merchandise. I've set up several merchandise stores, but mainly the main stores are TeeRepublic and TeeSpring. Just look for Leadership and Neurodiversity. Cafe Press, you have to look specifically for the items, but there seem to be more options available, and it's a curated set. There's eBay, which has a curated set of items, and there's Etsy, which also has a curated set of items, but eBay and Etsy have enamel pins that I had created, and you can see the designs on there. Look for the Leadership and Neurodiversity store. Etsy neuroleadership.etsy.com. I apologize. And then there are also some buttons that I had made and the fridge magnets that are on eBay only because the fees for Etsy would just be too high to make it make sense. And I figured I could sell for less on eBay and I could still make a decent profit from that. What's going to happen also is I'm going to set up the Leadership and Neurodiversity website and try to get some donations for that. I'll give a button, let's say, and a couple of pens away, or a couple pens and a button, a couple pens, and a bottle opener thingy with either the Leadership and Neurodiversity statement, or if autism is on the spectrum, then so are talents. And I'll probably be doing that starting in July. So it'll probably be like $10 you get the button, and then maybe 25 you'll get more pens and maybe a couple of the bottle openers, and then an enamel pin of your choice. And that's probably the only way we're going to do it. I'm not going to be doing anything crazy with that. Anyway, the big story this week is the upcoming autism law. Autistic. The official name is Roundtable Discussion for Long-Term Autistic Long-Term Mid-Level Employees. This started as an idea due to a conversation I had with someone online on LinkedIn, and I put it out there. I put out a proposal first, and then I boosted it by paying for it to be boosted. And then I put then that got close to 50,000 impressions. And then the second one got slightly more than 50,000 impressions, and they had more terms of the dates that I'm going for the first round, which is going to be July 15th at 7 p.m. United States Eastern Daylight Time. That'll be the first session. I think we have enough people that are ready to close that session off, but I'm going to confirm that in the next round, which will be next week, next round of posts. The second date I'm going to do is July 29th. It'll be at 5 a.m., which will be accommodating the Australian, New Zealand, and Asian groups people that are interested. And then we'll be going 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time again, because there is already enough interest to do 3 groups within North America that I can establish. There probably is more. And then I've seen a considerable amount of interest from Australia and New Zealand, and that's been very nice. I'm very honored to get that. So July 15th, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, July 29th, 5 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and then August 12th, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. These are tentative times. I think that's what I'm gonna go with. I'll confirm that next week. I'll probably have an actual form set up that way you can sign up if you're interested. Choose the session you're interested in. The nature of roundtable discussions is that you're limited to 10 to 12 people, including the moderator. I'm going to be the moderator for all sessions. I'll be asking questions about experience, what it's like in your workplace. What are you finding out about possibilities to advancing your careers? Do you find yourself stagnant? Do you find yourself do you find that neurotypical people are being promoted over you? And then there are other questions I want to ask. It's going to be, I'm hoping for somewhere anywhere between 60 to 90 to 120 minutes per session. It depends on what happens. It depends on the number of people in the group too. The August 12th session would then lead to a slight break until after United States Labor Day, which is early September. And then I'd come back and start doing every 2 weeks after that. And I think that's going to be the standard because, quite frankly, I think once this takes off, this is going to be a huge, huge, huge project. And quite frankly, I don't care if I have to do 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000 of these roundtables to let everybody's voices be heard. And this is a key thing. I want everybody's voices to be heard on this. I want people to see that autistic people are in this mid-level glass ceiling position. And yes, there are people who've succeeded and gone beyond that. And it's usually because people are masking their conditions. But what we find is people who are open about it, they tend to get left behind. You can argue all you want about the resume not being strong enough. You can argue all you want about interviewing skills. Um, I still say, and this is based on my own credentials, if a neurotypical person had my credentials, they would easily be in a senior management role, if not an associate director role right now. And I will match up against anybody, and anybody who wants to contact me and challenge me on that, I'll send you my credentials. You can take to the bank. You can take that to the bank because it's happened to me. Okay, I've seen neurotypical people get promoted over me. I'm sorry, but this is what's driving me here. Now, meanwhile, after we get this thing established for the autistic employees, I'm going to try to turn this around and ask the managers and the corporate leaders and the HR professionals and the disability advocates for autistic people to kind of step in and say, or for neurodivergent employees in general, say, hey, I want to ask, can you explain what's going on here? And can you do it without violating the Americans with Disabilities Act? I mean, or similar laws? Because quite frankly, it's interesting to see this happen over and over and over again. And I don't understand why. I would like to see if I can find some answers for that. As far as the original roundtable session for autistic long-term mid-level employees, I include unemployed, I include self-employed, because guess what? Y'all can get stuck at the same level too, and trying to move up with your business and trying to move up and get a new job. And I understand that, and you all are welcome to join as well. Next, I mentioned those two projects. I mentioned the merch project. There is right now there might be a fourth project, but I can't discuss it yet because of logistics. If it falls into place, I'll announce it officially, probably in July. I can tell you also that the two projects I was going to revive, the Total Retro Entertainment and CD Games, are going to be pushed back into the first week of July. That'll give me a chance to do it. I also have to remember that my final class in the classroom sequence of my PhD program starts on July 7th. I can get the books, I can get the work done very quickly. It's a 6-week course. However, I tend to be very quick about 6-week courses because I understand the nature. They all operate the same way, it seems, at Indiana Tech. But that's where I am right now. There's a lot going on. Stay tuned. Follow me on LinkedIn. I'm also now on Instagram. I've set up Instagram. I've set up Pinterest. I'm on BlueSky. I'm on Facebook, but I'm really not as involved on Facebook. I might try to push that a little bit more. Expect me to push the roundtables heavily on LinkedIn, possibly, and try to get publicity on other sites like Reddit. I'm going to try to get people as interested as possible. It seems, and based on what I'm getting, there's a lot of interest in this. Anyway, I'll be back on Wednesday with I'm sorry, Thursday with the next video. I hope. I expect to be back on Thursday with the next video. Until then, if you like what you hear, like, share, subscribe. Check me out on LinkedIn. And let me know what you think. Until then, I'll talk to you next time.